On behalf of Alliant Energy, thank you for watching this natural gas pipeline safety presentation, developed specifically for schools. While nearly every school has an emergency plan for fire or other natural disasters, many schools or school districts located near a pipeline have not considered the implications that a release from a pipeline or pipeline-related emergency may have on the safety of their students and staff. Please consider the following important pipeline-related actions. Know where pipelines are located related to your school and within your school district, as well as additional school properties such as athletic fields. Determine which pipeline companies operate nearby and make sure you have up-to-date contact information for them. Know who you should call in an emergency and for general questions. Identify what products are being carried in pipelines that are on or near school property. Recognize the warning signs of a pipeline release associated with those products. Understand the actions you and your staff should take in the event of a real or suspected pipeline release. Make pipelines a part of emergency preparedness plans for your school. Address what to do and actions to take in the event of a pipeline leak, natural disaster, or emergency. Know when to call 911 and the information to provide that identifies where pipelines are located. Determine when to initiate an evacuation plan. Make sure to identify a meeting point that is far from pipelines and is considered safe. Consider hosting a training drill that includes a pipeline emergency. Include invitations to the pipeline company, local fire and police departments, as well as emergency responders. Meet with representatives from pipeline companies to learn more. According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, pipelines are the safest and most efficient way to transport energy resources like natural gas, crude oil, and other petroleum products. Discuss and share this information with appropriate staff, including security, janitorial, maintenance, and transportation personnel. Identify all underground utilities on or near your school properties, or regularly visited areas such as administrative offices, athletic fields, and school bus routes. You may be surprised by what's buried near you. Add this information to your emergency preparedness plan. To avoid personal injury or damage to underground utilities, state law requires that you contact 811 before starting any digging project. Natural gas is colorless, odorless, and tasteless. An odorant called mercaptan may be added to make it easier to smell and detect leaks. The odorant is pungent, like the smell of rotten eggs. If you're not sure what that smells like, request a free scratch and sniff card at alliantenergy.com/gas. Order a few and share with staff. Be aware that some conditions in pipes and soil can cause odor fade, making the gas undetectable by smell. In addition, certain people may not be able to smell the natural gas odor due to olfactory fatigue, a diminished sense of smell. The odor may also be masked by other strong scents such as cooking or chemical odors. While most natural gas in your area is odorized, larger pipelines known as transmission lines, often running between towns or in more rural areas, may not be odorized. Discuss with your natural gas provider to determine if there is unodorized natural gas in your area. The unintentional release of natural gas is dangerous and can result in fires, explosion, injury, or death. Natural gas will form an explosive mixture with air under the right conditions. Natural gas is extremely flammable and easily ignited by heat, sparks, or flames. Natural gas is lighter than air and will rise. It can also accumulate in a building and travel under a frost cap, a hard surface, in a sewer line, or through disturbed soil. Examples of ignition sources include public address systems, cell phones, light switches, power tools, fire alarms, and any electronic equipment. Although leaks from natural gas pipelines are rare, it's important to use your senses to know the warning signs. Use your eyes, ears, and nose to recognize a leak or odor. If you see any of the following, a natural gas release may have occurred: water bubbling in a river, pond, or creek, dirt or debris blowing in the air, a cloud of vapor or mist, unexplained dead or dying vegetation near a natural gas pipeline, or a fire or explosion near a natural gas pipeline. If you hear unusual hissing, whistling, or roaring sound, a natural gas leak may have occurred. The following video shares one example of the reaction, response, and lessons learned when a phone call is made to 911 reporting a strong gas smell in an elementary school.
Now, this all started around 9 o'clock Tuesday morning when students and staff at Kegonsa smelled gas. Worried about the health and safety of the students, immediately everyone was evacuated from the school.
A normal day quickly turned scary after a gaseous smell took over the school.
Our staff, their relationships with the students and they remaining calm and telling the students, you know what, everything's fine, helps the students tremendously.
Teachers calmed students down as fire officials searched the building. No readings of gas were found.
What we've discovered was that Alliant Energy was doing some routine off-site maintenance and that our air handling units sucked in the smell.
That smell can cause lightheadedness, dizziness, and nausea. Of the 380 students at Kegonsa, 63 were seen by EMS and 2 were transported to the hospital.
The school did absolutely the right thing by evacuating and making sure that everybody was safe. So it's like the perfect reaction.
The students were allowed to go back inside and have a normal day again.
Now, fire officials say that they recently had conversations about gas odors with the school district in particular. They say that and other emergency training helped a lot in this situation. Reporting in Stoughton, Christy Batista, NBC 15 News.
For natural gas leaks or odors inside or outside a building, immediately notify school officials and implement your emergency preparedness plan. Do not create an ignition source. Provide evacuation instructions to others by word of mouth, and remember not to use cell phones, public address systems, alarms, light switches, or anything that could create a spark. Evacuate building occupants to a safe location. Make sure your meeting location is upwind from the potential leak or odor. Once in a safe place, first call 911, then call the natural gas pipeline operator. Coordinate with fire and emergency responder and utility personnel to determine an action plan. Stay in touch with them for updates on the situation. If an extended stay outside and bad weather is needed, determine if you will shelter students on buses or transport them to another location. Work with appropriate officials and media to provide updates regarding the location of students and personnel, as well as school, facility, or event cancellations. Remember, if an evacuation route has changed or extensive communication is needed during an emergency, it must be conveyed verbally. It is very important that you do not depend on radios, the public address system, a bullhorn, or cell phones for relaying instructions, as these devices are all potential sources of ignition. When you are responding to a natural gas pipeline leak or odor, do not investigate the situation. Do not attempt to stop or repair the leak. This includes turning natural gas pipeline valves. Do not touch the escaping natural gas. Do not operate a vehicle or motorized equipment. Do not drive or walk into a suspected natural gas leak area. And do not try to extinguish a burning natural gas pipeline fire. Every school that is located in the vicinity of a natural gas pipeline should develop and actively maintain an emergency preparedness plan. To develop the plan, school administrators and officials will need to obtain key contact information for natural gas pipeline operators and emergency responders, as well as the route of the natural gas pipeline and other underground facilities. Consulting with local natural gas pipeline operators and emergency responders is the best way to secure this information. In reviewing your emergency preparedness plan, consider these actions. Contact 811 and identify where natural gas pipeline facilities are located on or near school properties. If evacuation is necessary, your emergency preparedness plan should designate and train staff who can verbally assist getting everyone out of the building safely and to a secure location. Make sure your emergency preparedness plan addresses what to do in the event of a natural gas leak or odor. It is critical to consider the location of natural gas pipelines when developing evacuation routes. The type of emergency and its location will impact the selection of evacuation routes. Finally, make sure your emergency preparedness plan is up to date and verify that all emergency phone numbers and key contact information are updated and accurate. Transportation personnel can play a critical role in pipeline safety. Their daily activities result in the ability to observe areas around the school as well as pipeline facilities. Their increased awareness can directly contribute to the safety of students and the community at large. Providing information to those responsible for the transportation of students can help identify suspected pipeline releases and prevent the ignition of any released gas. Knowing the signs of a suspected pipeline release and immediate steps to take is an important part of awareness. However, bus drivers also need to know that their vehicle can serve as an ignition source. Be aware that alternate bus routes may be required during a natural gas pipeline leak. Bus drivers and anyone providing transportation should be encouraged to report suspicious activity or unusual conditions happening around natural gas pipeline facilities to law enforcement or the pipeline operator. If you see something, say something. After receiving this training, please take time to review the emergency preparedness plan for your school or district and schedule an emergency drill specifically for a natural gas emergency. Conducting a natural gas emergency drill helps reduce confusion during an actual emergency or event. It will also help you identify potential issues to correct. Drills and exercises provide excellent learning experiences for those immediately involved, including natural gas pipeline operators, local fire chiefs, and emergency responders. Holding practice drills helps prevent confusion in actual emergency situations. Following a drill, always take time to incorporate the lessons learned in your emergency preparedness plan. Everyone plays a role in natural gas pipeline safety. Natural gas pipeline operators ask for assistance in monitoring activity that occurs around a natural gas pipeline. If you see unknown or suspicious people lingering around a natural gas pipeline, signs of a potential leak, odor, or other activities that are not normal or expected, please report it immediately to 911 and the natural gas pipeline operator. Suspicious activity can include taking photos, notes, or taking an unusual interest in the area. For questions, please contact Alliant Energy at 1-800-ALLIANT. More information is available at alliantenergy.com/gas. Remember, natural gas safety is a shared responsibility, and it is in the best interest of your students, staff, and school to follow these important procedures to keep everyone safe.